one's not a fun story.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Cebu, typhoon, and we didn't even know it.
So this was when I was a young adult, um, and that was actually more like 25, 30 years ago when the first time was actually 35 years ago. But that's not important. What's important is as silly tourists, we approached Cebu on a Category 3 typhoon, thinking that based on Hong Kong ratings, Category 3 out of 5, that's just kind of a medium typhoon. No, Category 3 is actually the strongest you can get in the Philippines. And we argued way too much and obnoxiously as entitled tourists with the front desk about not getting a beachfront chalet, only to realize later why they were blessing us despite our obtuseness. Foreshadowing. We went to dinner, and once again, the van driver who was found by the hotel insisted he stay with us because it will be difficult to get a ride back given the conditions. Mid dinner, the lights went out. 15 minutes later, we were shooed out hurriedly, frantically, as the wind started gusting outside. The van driver, Dale, did his best to drive the buffeting van down the coastal road towards our hotel as waves lapped across the road and palm fronds were being blown down. And just minutes away from our beachfront resort, we encountered a large enough tree to have fallen down with the wind across the entire 2 lane highway extending into the roadside at the shoulder on the other side. And as the adults were arguing about what to do because there's no turning back and no alternative
You were
around,
not a young adult, Lucian. You were a teenager, a young one. I remember that you were a kid still.
hmm,
This was earlier.
so I had the audacity to step out of the van, and the adults suddenly stopped arguing, going, "What the hell are you doing?" I says, "I think I need to do this." And a hush came over the van as I stepped out, leaned against one of the branches of the tree, and dragged it against the wind and pulled it aside. Just climbed back in, sat down, and the driver's jaw was just dropped, just and he started the van and we drove back. We get to the resort and the storm surge had overtaken the beachfront chalets, ergo argument with reception.
Luggage was floating outside.
And there were frantic cries from a German family, I believe, who were gathering the belongings, kids in arms, and they were probably minutes away from being swept away by the storm surge that was obviously rising like a flash flood. And
It was a wall.
as I stepped into the water and touched the wall, I was shocked by the still live current, but I was able to grab something that the German family was frantically asking for. And I came out and we vacated, withdrew.
And then the wall came crashing on.
Yeah, the water surged in as we were exiting and swallowed up the chalet. The next morning, after a fitful night of power going in and out and air conditioning cooling us off, and then the gusts of the wind sucking out the back pressure and making ears hurt and just flooding the room with tepid air. I could not sleep, and in the eerie silence that signaled the end of the storm, I went outside pre-dawn and saw a large group gathered at the beach. And they were standing around two stiff, lifeless forms of a father clutched to his son. And the story was in the lull of the lull of the typhoon, they had crossed the bay only to catch the fury of the other side before they had made landfall. And so I sat down with them and grieved silently that hallowed moment. I left a piece of my heart there. I'm going back. When I met Rose Tria 36 years ago, she was a nurse with a young boy, and, in her own words, rather strict and boring. Just a few years later, her husband Dale abandoned her because she was diagnosed with kidney failure with a grim prognosis. Nevertheless, through the financial and emotional support from my Uncle Gilles, Rose is currently the longest living dialysis patient at her hospital. For 10 years, she shared her hope and gratitude for life with people she met as an emergency room nurse, but stopped when she broke her hip and became wheelchair bound. Today, Rose has a new philosophy on life: to experience everything and enjoy life fully. She eats whatever she wants, in moderation, drinking Coca Cola and eating fried foods in between dialysis. She has seen many peers pass within 2 weeks of stopping dialysis, due to financial reasons mostly, and therefore regards my family with sincere and utmost gratitude.